Here's a story on boundingintothecomics.com. New report claims Warner Brothers Discovery to make huge changes to DC Comics want to revitalize Superman on the big screen. Brand new report claims that the newly formed entity Warner Brothers Discovery, which recently was confirmed the other day, led by CEO David Zaslav, is planning to make big changes to DC Comics and DC Entertainment. Much more on the entertainment side. Comics are, quite frankly, I don't know if the comics are even a big enough deal for them to even notice, which is a shame. It's a damn shame. But anyway, this new report from Variety's Brent Lang and Matt Donnelly claims top leadership have been toying with the idea of turning DC into its own solidified content vertical, which is just fucking market speed, or just marketing talk, or not marketing, but it's just basically bigwig talk for their own extended universe, a connected universe, basically. If this ends up happening, the report notes it will affect DC Films currently in development, streaming series from Warner Brothers Television, and the overall DC creative team. And then they talk about, Scooper Mikey Sutton made a similar claim. He wants to consolidate everything about Zaslav. It will be a consolidation. He's talking about consolidating both into one. In the same way that Marvel's connecting the Disney Plus shows with their cinematic counterparts to a point. I mean, everything doesn't have to be like fully connected. It just needs to be a little bit, they take place in the same world, basically. To this point, Zaslav is reportedly looking for someone with a business background to oversee and manage all the different factions of DC. You need a business background. You need it's a citing an anonymous source to report claims Zaslav is less interested in finding a creative guru at Kevin Feige at Marvel Studios. Which is where the fucking go wrong. It's like, no one, we don't need some fucking business guy. We don't need a bean counter doing this shit. We need a guy who's actually going to, be creative. Like a Jeff Johns or whatever. You can find different people and we can all come up with our list and stuff. Zaslav and Discovery want to create a coherent creative and brand strategy. That's why you bring in a creative guy, not some business guy. Anyway, something DC currently lacks as seen in many of their recent releases, which aren't connected. Basically is the point. As part of this coherent creative and brand strategy, they want to ensure top characters like Superman are being utilized. The report claims Discovery believes top shelf characters such as Superman have been left to languish and need to be revitalized. They do. Zaslav and his team allegedly want to see more films like the Joker. They believe it is a shining example of how second build characters from the DC library can and should be exploited. I wouldn't call Joker a second, second build character. I mean, he is. But he's a villain that stands on his own. But okay, I understand the point though. The claim wants to have a coherent, the claim to want to have a coherent creative and brand strategy, but then also to tell complete one-offs that the Joker seem to be at odds with one another. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any validity to their support in what Warner Brothers Discovery does with DC moving forward. I can believe that that's what they want. I absolutely believe that. That's very believable. Now, can they do it? Can they execute it properly? That's where we'll see. Because the thing with the Marvel, the MCU and stuff is they had a lot of stuff in place. So they did some good work and everything, but they also got incredibly lucky. Oh, Chris Evans is Captain America. That's a home run. Chris Hemsworth is Thor. That's a home run. And it starts going right. Robert Downey Jr. and Scarlett Johansson and Samuel L. Jackson. A lot of the casting worked out great. It worked out fantastically. But there was a large element of luck to that stuff because you're starting to see now, like Simu Liu as Shang-Chi, and the Eternals, and you got this, all this other shit, but whatever. But basically it's talking about the whole Pocket Universe, something he wants to use sporadically. It'll be a more Elseworlds thing as sporadically as possible because he really wants to make this more streamlined and easier to understand for the general public. Which, a lot of this is, hey, we're saying the right things. Or these reports are. We'll see. He later added, you can have secondary characters on television that are related to that central character. Like, you can't have Ezra Miller on TV, right? Like, first off, why not? Ezra Miller is not a big star. Regardless of whether I think his Flash sucks, which I do. I think his Flash completely fucking sucks. But he's not some huge star. That you're like, oh my god, I'm surprised, thank you for lowering yourself, Your Majesty, to show up on TV, But anyway, it's like, I don't agree with using him as the example. You could use any, Jason Momoa or what, although, Jason Momoa is a bigger star than fucking Ezra Miller, and Jason Momoa does stuff on TV and everything, but anyway, whatever. The But they just want to redo the DCEU over again. They feel they had the right idea, but Hamada screwed it up. Totally screwed it up. Because what they had was working, but again, they cut up BVS. I don't know. Working, maybe it's a little strong. I personally kind of liked it, but there's other people. I'm talking like Man of Steel and stuff. But anyway, they chopped up Justice League and gave it to the wrong director. There were so many mistakes, but they had the right idea, though. Yeah, okay. Saying The Rock wants to create a DC universe, he's in line with Azov, and they both want the same thing. There's The Rock as Black Adam. But the report from Variety further puts itself in question when it claims that under Walter Hamada, DC Films has achieved more consistency in terms of both the critical and commercial reception to the company's movies. Not true. Suicide Squad bombed. Despite it actually, it's kind of a fun movie and everything. You could sit here and quibble and pick it apart and so on and such forth. But I mean, look, it had a 90%, critics scored and 82 on the audience. But it bombed at the box office, was a huge flop. As you can see, it earned a measly 167.1 million at the global box office and 55.8 at the domestic box office. Had a production budget of 185 million dollars. Okay. Wonder Woman 1984, 46 and a grand total of 166. Globally, had a production budget of 200 million. Of course, it's different. The audience liked it more than the critics. There's Birds of Prey, 79 cents. Yeah, roughly about the same. Now that one, see, it earned 201 globally, had a production budget of 82 million, so it's not exactly like it lost a shit ton of money, but it didn't exactly make a shit ton of money. If you could say anything, it either broke even, or it lost a little, or maybe made a little. It depends. Anyway, then it goes on, talks about Gotham Knights video game, Suicide Squad video game, all this other stuff. I do like this part here where he's like, they also reportedly have a Superman project from J.J. Abrams and racist Ta-Nehisi Coates. It's like, that's true, because that fucking guy is a racist clown. Patty Jenkins is also expected to develop a third Wonder Woman film. They got Shazam, Fear of the Gods, The Flash, Aquaman, Lost Kingdom, Black Adam, Batgirl, and Blue Beetle. Talking about the movies in development, basically. So what do you think of this movie report? I believe it. My question is, I firmly believe that's what they want. They want to create. They basically want what Marvel has, where it's kind of a connected universe. Although not always, because sometimes the shows don't truly connect. But anyway, whatever. They want it. That's the goal. They've wanted that for years, though. Can they do it? Are they capable of executing this? That's what we'll find out. Maybe. Personally, I hope so. I really do. But the addition of Discovery coming in and stuff, the new CEO and all that, I think they'll make a go of it. There'll be mistakes, but I think by and large they'll do a decent job of it. Well, we'll see. Anyway, I'll go ahead and wrap this up here. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.